Rehane Jabbari is a symbol of fight against execution in Iran. She's a symbol of inequality between men and women in Iran. The film has been inspired by life of Rehane Jabbari, who has been executed by Islamic regime of Iran in 2014. Reem Kadem, the Hollywood actress with Iraq background, played the role of Nawal, who inspired by life of Rehane Jabbari. And we are so pleased to have Reem Kadem in our program today.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and I'm honored.
Oh, thank you. The same here. Reem Kadem, could you please explain a little bit to us how you became familiar with Rehane Jabbari? How did you know who is Rehane Jabbari?
Well, I think that I was aware of who she was very, slightly. But I learned a lot more about her because I ended up taking on a tour de force role to star as Nawal in Nawal the Jewel,
Right.
film that was based on Rehane Jabbari's life. And I learned very much about her. And not only did I learn about her, but now recently have become friends with Sholeh Pakravan, her mother.
Yeah, what was your feeling when you were playing the role of Rehane Jabbari, with knowing that what she went through and what her family went through, and especially Sholeh went through? What was your feeling when you were playing the role of Rehane?
It is heartbreaking, beyond explanation. It is so devastating to see what is happening in Iran to the women of Iran. It is so devastating to see the segregation and the discrimination and the terror that is occurring to all of these women. And I applaud these women for removing their hijabs, for standing up for what they want in their lives,
Right.
but knowing very well that my heart is with them and I send my prayers to them. So in answer to your question, it's very deep-rooted. My mother, thank God, escaped the Ba'athist regime.
Yeah.
Back in 1979, she went against Saddam Hussein's Ba'athist regime. And she was thrown in jail, but luckily was strategic and got herself out. But it is a very, very deep-rooted subject for me. And it is one that I want to fight for from here until the future in my life, for the years to come. I want to find ways to help women. I'm so honored that Sholeh Pakravan and I have become friends. And it is a very important matter for me, very much.
What was your challenge when you were playing this role, especially with the different language, and probably was very challenging, and playing this role with having your personal connection with that role. So what was your challenge, and can you please just give us some
Yes,
perspective?
of course. Well, first of all, it was important for me to have Farsi accent,
Right.
the Iranian accent, Persian accent. So that thing that I made sure to nail down when I was especially doing the English version. So what we did with this movie, because it premiered in India, it was based out of India. So what we did was we took some theatrical license, and yes, it is based on Rehane Jabbari, but it is also half Indian, half Iranian for the story of Nawal. So we took a theatrical license as well. And so what I did was I learned the language of Malayalam. And from my knowledge, I guess I was the first American to do that or something in terms of starring in a movie, learning it and speaking it in sync sound, meaning sound on set. So I learned Malayalam. I spoke Malayalam on the set. Then I also shot it in English. So we have two different versions of the movie. It was extremely difficult. It was the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. As far as the preparation, the emotional, logical work, I take a lot of notes. I listen to all kinds of music. My best friend, Ashley Garland, and Eddie Torres, who's a dear friend, they did music for me, and they did a called Mother. And it got me bawling every time. The director, if I needed to go to that place where I was in a very, very emotional state, and I wasn't able to get there, I would step away for a moment and I would listen to that song. And that was a big one for me, because it was a song based on a letter that Rehane Jabbari wrote to her mother. In fact, forgive me, I don't know if it was a letter. It might have been a voicemail.
Yeah.
It was a message, though, that she sent her mother, Chole.
Yeah. And what was the response in India, and how people actually they accepted this movie?
You know, we had a great response, and you know, it's a subject that is a very serious film, and so you know, going to be different responses that come out of that. Thankfully for me, I was so glad that giving 100% with the crew, everybody worked so hard together, and I feel like it was embraced quite strongly in many aspects. Of course, critics will come in different directions in any movie. And I feel like this is just the beginning of something that is extremely important, and that is the Me Too movement that has now started with places like Hollywood that hashtag Me Too, meaning, you know, women that were harassed, or men even, harassed, raped, assaulted sexually. To me, this is a more relevant matter than ever. To me, this movie is more impactful now on an international level, more than it ever has been. So India is just a starting point, and it's the beginning of the many chapters to come for it.
Yeah. Actually, in one of your interview, you mentioned that it was a personal connection with you too when you played the role of Nawal. And
Yeah.
Can you please a little bit explain about that personal connection for us?
Absolutely. Yes. My mother, as mentioned briefly, my mother actually was an activist against the Ba'ath. So my mother was a very brave woman. She fought against the regime. She constantly wanted to fight for the freedom of the Iraqi people. Mother fought with her all the time, stop her activism. She was putting herself in danger constantly. My mom's father was in and out of jail. My mom's younger brother, like your name, but Muhammad was thrown in jail and was killed and handicapped by the regime. And we found out more about that after Saddam Hussein was executed, and the list came out. The list came out of all the people and what happened. I've had family members see very horrific things. Luckily, my mother escaped. In a case like Rayana Jabari, you know, Rayhana was not able to escape the torture of Iraq, and she was one of the many victims.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned that you are working on one of your project called Baghdad in Bronx. What's going on with this project, and in what stage is that project so far?
Yes, thank you for asking. Back in the Bronx is a project that has been very dear. It's received a lot of recognition, honors as well. It's a project that is a bigger budget film that I wrote, inspired from my mother, and it's very much kind of like a female-born identity in many ways. Also takes a license to create that commercial appeal. So that is a project that is one of the many projects that I'm working on getting off the ground right now.
Yeah.
I am also working on a true story film that I'm delivering at the end of this month, which is incredible. And I also humanize the Middle Eastern light in a different way. My co-writing partner and I created a film called The Real Me. And we also had the idea for a TV series. And it's about a Middle Eastern family. It's inspired from my life.
Yeah.
And basically about an Iraqi young woman who wants nothing more than to be an actress. And her parents follow for her to follow the traditional route and to marry a man of their choosing. And really my goal in life is, as an artist, to tell stories and to break barriers and to create meaningful projects and help change the world in that way.
Well, Reem Kadem, thank you so much for giving us this time to talk to you, and we wish you the best in your excellent work that you are doing to try to be the voice of women and to try to be the voice of who doesn't have any voice. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored. I appreciate your time. And I look forward to seeing this interview.
Thank you so much. The same here.
God bless you.
Thanks.
ആകയാൽ ഈ കോടതി പ്രസ്തുത പ്രതിയെ ഇന്നേക്ക് 15 നാൾക്കകം മരണം വരെ തൂക്കിലേറ്റാൻ വിധിക്കുന്നു.